Hey, hey, what up, what up, what up? Big news, everyone. Not only is this the first ep of the new year, Happy New Year, by the way. Look, it's week 3 at time of filming, so this means this probably won't be published until late. Look, just go with it, alright? December marks the channel's first full year on YouTube, and to celebrate, we got something special planned for you this ep. But first, a bit of housekeeping. For those of you keeping score, no, my October ep has not dropped yet. It was way more work than I thought it would be, more graphics than usual still need to be added, my actual job work schedule has changed, but thankfully, for me, GTA 6 has been pushed back, and that gives me more time to work on it since it's a GTA 6 centered episode. I'll keep you posted in this space for when that drops. Second, I'd like to give a special thanks to all my channel subscribers. Never thought I'd ever actually get the chance to say that, but sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. It really means a lot to me. Alright, housekeeping's out of the way. Let's get this ep started. Today, we're rolling not just one ride, but 2 in our very first Crosstown Rivals ep. And both of these auto poster porn rides are repping the 90s hard. So let's step into our Wayback Machine and get suited for the occasion. Ah, crap. This is way too far back. Let's try that again. Ah, yes. Back in the present. All right. Let me guess. You thought I was going to whip out a Deluxo, didn't you? Instead, I went for the deep cut. Let's try this one more time. Oh yeah. Yep, no, I can tell. This is the 90s. I can tell. The air is a little cleaner. I've got mail and it's not spam. And the only concern is making it home before the street lights come on. And that brings us to our first challenger of the day in this head-to-head. A demonic ride that took time out of its busy schedule of ruling over hell's deepest and darkest racetrack to be here. A ride that doesn't give any F's and only has 2, count 'em, 2 concerns. Top speed and looking good at top speed. A whip that uses its hate of slower rides, its iconic wedge shape, and lack of rear window to propel it to subsonic tire shredding speeds. The only pavement demon that can get a speeding ticket while parked. I'd love to intro you all to the one, the only, Pegassi Infernus Classic. One hell of a ride. Now, I know what you're thinking. What ride could be brave or stupid enough to line up against hell's fastest fashion statement? Well, come on. I'll show you. Let's step round to the far corner where an opponent, really needing no introduction the world over and ready to dominate the challenges ahead awaits. From the upper thigh of Italy's long leather boot, just 22 miles down the street from where Pegassi spawns its vehicles, comes today's other challenger in this competition. A ride that was once described as the Playboy's F1 streetcar. A whip so seductive, the nuns at your boarding school would rip the poster off the wall for fear of impure thoughts from themselves. It has an exhaust note so exquisitely tuned, even heaven's choir can't help but jam along. And if you haven't guessed already, the only 90s icon that can match pace with the Infernus is its crosstown rival, the Grotti Turismo Classic, where sophistication meets catch me if you can. And now, for all the millions watching around the world, this is AMJ Custom Garage, I'm your driver AMJ, and let's get to it! Alright, welcome back to the garage. First ride to get a makeover is the Turismo, obviously based off the world famous Ferrari F40. Produced from 87 to 92. It barely qualifies for today's 90s challenge, but that's okay, because the F40 is barely a street legal ride. More of an F1 car with license plates that tolerated the street. Famously having no interior styling, including no radio, door handles, or carpet, with bolts and adhesive visible. Only getting one coat of paint on the carbon fiber, Kevlar aluminum body. This twin-turbo V8 street missile was the fastest production car in the world when released in '87, holding the title for several years. It was the first road-legal production car to crack the 200-mile-per-hour barrier with a top speed of 201. This wasn't a committee car. This was Ferrari's mic drop. The last machine seen by the man himself, Enzo Ferrari, who believed road cars existed purely to fund racing. When people think early 90s horsepower, excess, danger, and ego, they don't picture numbers. They picture an F40. Not to be outdone, Lamborghini knew they had to hit the new decade with the machine so outlandish, so intimidating, so Lamborghini that only the best of the best could handle it. Exclusivity at its highest. This is what the Infernus is clearly based off. The Lamborghini Diablo. This is the ride that single-handedly saved Lamborghini from death. The first time round. At the time, Lambo's masterpiece Countach was long in the tooth, at almost 20 years old, and Lamborghini needed new blood, something big and bold to turn heads and empty wallets. Lamborghini didn't need evolution. They needed a statement. And the Diablo was that V12 statement, written in flaming italics. This is what happens when your engineering team ignores logic, science, and the company accountants. When launched in 1990, the Diablo was widely recognized as the fastest production car, surpassing the previous benchmark set by cars like the Ferrari F40, with a top speed of 202 miles per hour. But does having nearly twice as many cylinders mean it's twice as mean on the track? Well, let's get down to the Los Santos Canal for the Grease Lightning Run and find out. Alright, here we are with the Turismo, and hot damn does this look gorgeous in red. I know Ferraris usually come in red, but damn. And check out the rims, they're stock. We got the pop-up lights, they're kind of minimum, but they look fabulous. Check out how this thing opens up. Glorious. I love this ride. Alright, inside we've got the standard cockpit. I told you, no radio. This thing is fabulous. We can look through the back window, check out parts of the engine. Not a whole lot. You got to really have it up for that or open for that. Other than that, it's a clean looking ride. All right, up next, let's get to the Infernus. All right, and next up, of course, we have the Infernus, and look at it in all its purple glory. Check out those rims. I left them stock. They are gorgeous. Got the pop-up headlights, of course, and of course, this ride has those scissor doors for that party piece. Fabulous looking. All right, we got a grayed out interior. It's 90s, and of course, no rear window to look out of, but hey, at least you got a radio, right? Everything in here is looking fly. All right, let's get down to the Los Santos Canal and get to the Grease Lightning. right, here we are back down in the Los Santos Canal, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger both of these Grease Lightning runs. So, Grease Lightning, what we're doing is this is a bit of a drag race. We're going to take this ride and we're going to run it all the way down from this end of the canal to the far end of the canal. It's kind of like a drag run, except it's got some lefts and rights in there. No ups and no downs though. At the far end, there's a set of barrels. Cross the line into the pool and celebrate. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, mark. Nice. Great little start there. Love this ride. This is one of my all-time favorite rides in real life. I hope it lives up to the hype in this game. I know I've tested something with bigger acceleration, higher acceleration, but I feel that this being a classic, I think this might actually be kind of slow. I feel that other rides have been a bit quicker. It's just cruising along, but that's all right. Still loving this ride. Look at the color on it too. Love that purple. Here we are coming up to the barrels and cross the line. Mark. All right, now that was a nice start. I can definitely feel the difference between this and the Infernus as far as the initial launch goes. This also feels like it's carrying the speed a lot longer. I think top speed also might be a little higher in this than in the Infernus Classic. But either way, hauling cheeks. Already past the double hoop, coming up to the last overpass. Barrels should be in sight in just a moment. There they are, and cross the line. Challenge 1 done and in the bag, and the first mark goes to the Italian stallion, the Turismo Classic. Let's see how it handles when we get to the slalom. All right, here we are back down at the pier for the slalom. Since the Infernus lost the last round, the Grease Lightning, I figured I'd let it go first for the slalom. We're going to run both cars, one then the other. So what we're doing here is we're going to slalom all the way up in between the poles, get to the far end of the parking lot, spin it, bring it back down through the poles, get back down to this side, power hard up on the right hand side, straight through, back to the far end, spin it one last time through the poles and across the line. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay, now this is easy. Great control. Nice power. Normally the dock, the pier here makes it really hard for a lot of the rides we've tested so far. Real easy to handle. Great control. All right, last set of lamps to cut through. And across the line. And let's see how we get this on. 3, 2, 1, mark. All right, nice pull out. Real easy to control. This is fast. Oh, cut it a little short. That was me, not the ride. This is quick on the pier. The pier normally, because it's got the wood surface, it normally affects rides in a negative way. But this, oh, that was pretty. This has got no problems up here. Through the poles one last time and across the line. 1-1 tie. Let's see who breaks it at Fort Z. Time for the brake test. All right, here we are back down at Fort Zancudo. We are here for the brake test. What we're going to do is we're going to run both these icons simultaneously down the runway at the same time. Hence the simultaneously part. We're going to start here on this side, kiss both these beauties up against the backwash here. We're going to run from this set of blue lights all the way down to the other far end of the runway where there is another set of blue lights. Once we get to those blue lights, hit the brakes and find out which one of these beauties stops in the shortest amount of distance. I think what I'm going to do also is, or I'm going to emphasize which ride I'm talking about by maybe having that one be a little bigger, or maybe having the other one be in black and white. I haven't exactly figured out what yet, but I will indicate which ride I am talking about while I am talking about it. I honestly have no clue where this is going to go, so I'm curious to find out. All right, here we do this. 3, 2, 1, mark. Nice, fast little start there. Here we are. That was the first 30, I think. I've never actually been on this side. It's kind of hard to see all the markings. There's the second 30. Picking up speed, there is the second 30. Here we are coming into the blue lights and stop. Ooh. Just a bit outside. Oh, nice. Right in the middle. Lovely. All right. With that down, let's get down to Rogers, salvage, and scrap. Let's get to the cannonball run. All right. Here we are back down at Rogers, salvage, and scrap. See if we can line this up properly. I don't know why I'm all wobbly with this. There we go. Beautiful. All right, what we're doing is we are going to run the Turismo Classic from the south side of town all the way through the middle of downtown Los Santos. There's going to be some ramps, some jumps in this section as we go past these. We're going to hit the hill climb, hit the twisties all the way up to the top, come back down, hit the follow through, past the refinery, past the sprunk sign, under the railroad bridge, and into Stab City. After we run this, we're running the Infernus. Let's find out whose ego is going to get bruised and who's going home with the trophy. All right, 3, 2, 1, mark. Nice, easy takeoff. This thing corners like a dream. I love the way the Turismo corners. Here we are coming up into the bunny hops. Gonna have to slow down just a little. I don't want to catch too much air in here. I'll be all over the street. First right. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about for those corners. Look at that. Coming in for the left. Love it too. All right, let's tear up the streets now. We are making a straight run to the spine of the city. We're going to cut all the way through downtown. We're going to have to hit the ramps coming up here just past these. So here is ramp number 1. Oh, get some air. Ramp number 2. Oh, slow down right here. Down because there's vehicle there. All right, and here we are coming up on the 4th one. Can we clear the intersection? I'm bet. Oh, clipped it, but I'm gonna let it slide. All right, here we go. All right, Geico corner. You see that? Those were the brakes. That was all foot pedal. No handbrake on that. This is the hill climb. A little squirrely in there, but that's okay. He gets so mad. All right, coming out of the major part of the hill climb, getting up to the top of the hill here. Beautiful. Into the chicanes. Whew. Blind man's curve. And I'm going to shut up for a second so that we can really hear that engine there. Nice. That car couldn't decide where it was going. All right, on to the follow through, and let's talk about quality of life with this. Could you live with the Grotti Turismo Classic? Yes, and that's why the plate on it says fun to drive. This is an absolute blast. I honestly don't know why more people aren't rocking this when they go out. I guess it's just because it's an older ride. under the train bridge, over the last bridge, cut him on the inside because he's going to be in the way, into Stab City, and across the line. One down, one to go. Let's run the Infernus. 3, 2, 1, mark. Ooh, little wild on the takeoff there. Too much horsepower, that's all right though. This is not as refined as a lot of other rides, but still hangs in there and handles very well. Look at them over the bunny hops. I had to keep it a little slow, but it stayed low and flat. First right-hander. Oh, a little wide out there. Should have probably have used the handbrake, but I did it. That's fine. First left. Here we are. All right. Time to haul ass. Straight up the middle of downtown. Gonna hit the ramps. Going up the spine of the city. Gonna hit those ramps. Here we go. That's number 1. Number 2. I think number 3 is clear. Yes, it is. Full speed on number 4. Can we clear the intersection? Yes! Sideways, too. Geico corner. Slow it down just a little. Give them a warning. I'm coming up the hill for the hill climb. This thing just hauls ass. I am loving this. As I was mentioning, it's not as refined as some of the other vehicles we've tested, but the brakes make up for it. As soon as it gets a little squirrely, you just tap on them, bap bap. Top of the hill, outside. You just tap on the brakes, and it just settles right back down. Into the chicane. Had to hold the brake a little longer than I wanted. Blind man's curve. Let me shut up for a second so we can hear that exhaust note. Epic sound, just epic with it. On to the follow through. Here we are. Okay, quality of life. Could you live with this? Yeah, this is another machine that you should have in your garage. Is one hell of a ride. I love the look. I love the sound. It's just got that classic 90s vibe to it. Easy to drive. Great brakes. You wouldn't think so, but great brakes. Under the train bridge. Last bridge. Here. Cut the dirt like always. You should have one of these. Stab City and across the line. Hot damn, did you see those times? 2 epic runs and a fantastic head-to-head from 2 fierce rivals that left it all on the track. Unfortunately, though, there can only be one, and the Turismo Classic has come out ahead. But would you look at how close those times were? No 2 other direct competitors have ever been this close before. So let's get back to town, let's get back to 2026, and let's discuss the outcome. What a run. And would you look at that, back in 2026. I know, because I can taste the dirt in the air. My feet are still blowing up from over how the Niners got their asses handed to them by Seattle, and movie theaters are almost all gone out of business. Time for final thoughts. On paper, these 2 legends stacked up evenly, but once the rubber hit the road, seconds were all that separated these 2 icons from winner and loser. Basically the difference between eternal glory and better luck next time. The Grotti Turismo Classic is basically what happens when old school racing pedigree refuses to retire. And honestly, we're all better for it. With that low wedge-shaped stance, pop-up headlights, and just enough aggression to remind you it's not here for a Sunday cruise. It looks like it belongs on a poster in a 90s kid's bedroom, or blasting down a coastal highway with zero regards for speed limits. That said, let's not disrespect the Infernus. The Infernus is purpose-built to be loud, brash, and impossible to ignore, and it absolutely nails the assignment. The exhaust note sounds like a small volcano clearing its throat. The retro-future design looks like it escaped from a 1990s concept car poster, and it carries that classic Pegassi attitude that basically screams, "Yeah, I parked in 2 spaces. What are you gonna do about it?" And honestly, even though it was found lacking during the Cannonball Run, I don't know a single person who wouldn't happily take the keys to such an epic ride. And that's really its charm. It's not about being the fastest thing on the road. It's about feeling fast. Every gear change, every turn, every near miss feels earned. It's the kind of car that makes you look cooler than you definitely are. But at the end of the day, a competition is a competition. You don't hand out 2 gold medals just because both whips look badass sitting in the sun. The whole point is finding out which one does it just a little bit better. That means one walks away with the crown and the other goes home with a bruised ego. And today, the title of champion goes to the Grotti Turismo Classic. While the Infernus showed up ready to play, the Turismo, like the Seattle Seahawks, showed up ready to win. With its sexy lines, F1-inspired aero, and a turbo-tuned engine that sounds like it drinks espresso for breakfast. It hit the ground running, with a well-oiled offense that the Pegassi Infernus simply had no defense for. If the first 3 challenges were the playoffs, then the Cannonball Run had to be the Super Bowl. And with the Turismo's quicker run time and the Grease Lightning and the Cannonball Run, it's ultimately earned the crown for Crosstown rival victor. But before you start pointing and laughing, remember this. The Infernus didn't lose by a landslide. We're talking less than a second in the Grease Lightning sprint. It beat the Turismo in the slalom and the brake tests. Go figure. And it was barely 2 seconds behind for the Cannonball Run. That's not a blowout. That's a blink and you'll miss it kind of loss. And let's be honest, it's not like the Infernus lost to your mom's Buick station wagon or your college roommate's clapped out Miata with the mismatched door panel. It lost to the Grotti Turismo Classic, one of the most iconic supercars ever built. They say you're judged by the company you keep. And if the company the Infernus keeps is the Turismo, well, that's some pretty elite company. Bottom line, yeah, the Turismo came out on top, but before you disregard the Infernus as a loser, like the 49ers, remember this, the true loser here is you if you don't have both of these 5-star wanted legends parked in your garage. Time to find the next ride. I mean, only 6 points? Really? That's how you want to end the season? Really? Now that's it. That's the end of the reviews. If you stuck around this far into the vid, you know what's up. Massive thanks for watching. And if you're feeling it, you can do some of those familiar YouTube things of like or subscribe. At the time of filming, it's early March. The Super Bowl is past. I'm sure those Niner jokes are going to fall flat. I'm trying hard to keep to a regular release schedule, but my personal schedule is so hectic right now that it's just hard for me to keep to a regular release. So if you don't want to miss any of the fun, be sure to sub so that you don't miss my sporadic releases. In the meantime, Here's a hint to next step's ride. As for me, I think I'm going to hop back into this Wayback Machine, get back to the 30s, and check out that Z-Type I came across. Till then, I'll catch you in the mean streets of Los Santos. Later.